Okay, Herman the Hive, week 17. We are getting ready for fall by starting to condense down a little bit. I added a fourth super. This inspection, the goal was to put all the honey that I possibly could into one super, and if there was anything that I could take out to reduce that down. So that's what I did. A lot of the frames that I had put into the fourth super were actually not getting drawn out. They were still filling honey in the lower boxes. So that fourth super didn't really get full of much of anything. Also with this inspection, I was keeping an eye out for signs of varroa mites. Varroa mites are a very common pest with beehives and can easily destroy a hive. They can be present year-round, and it's usually good to keep a check or a pulse on what the population might be. This entire year, I have seen very little sign of varroa mite, and so I've just been keeping an eye out for it. Typically, most people that keep lots of hives keep a pretty active schedule for treating for varroa mite to make sure that the population stays as minimal as possible. Here I've now removed both supers. I have approximately 10 full frames of honey, which I've now combined all into that third honey super box. I'm going to leave that on for a few more weeks to see if they can max out pretty much just everything else, and then I'll condense the hive down to just 2 boxes for the winter. Now I'm just going to go through and inspect the 2 main brood boxes and see how things look. In this second box here, there was a frame of a lot of drone comb. So here in the cells here, you can see all the drone cells. Those are the ones that are popped up. I've talked about them before. It was kind of odd to see this many drones this late in the season. Towards the fall, the bees will actually kick the drones out of the hive since they don't serve a purpose in helping out through the winter. There I'm showing a queen cup. So in my last video I mentioned queen cups. They built another queen cup. This one I actually just left there, just figuring that it's a little late in the season for potential swarming, so I wasn't too worried about it. Here's another frame with a really great brood pattern. I was happy to see that there's still this many capped cells going into fall, so the queen is still laying very heavily. I got a lot of bees coming here. On the edges they're still uncapped. You can see the larvae there growing at different maturity stages. Probably another 14 days or so and all of these cells will be hatching. We'll have a whole lot more bees. It's approximately 3,500 cells per bee frame, so that's something interesting as well. Here in this shot you can see the queen. I hadn't seen my queen in quite some time. Every time I've checked, I've just looked for evidence but not actually bothered finding her. Here are a bunch of eggs. This whole frame that she was on was just full of eggs. So she's still doing great, happy, healthy, laying. So another interesting fact here, you can see my queen again. She has that little bit of blue paint on her. Queen bees can be marked for the year that they are bred. So she's marked blue, which is for years ending in 0. If it was a queen from this year and was marked, it would be white. And next year was yellow. Years that end in 3s is red. Years that end in 4s is green. And so yeah, they just mark the queens for that, and it's kind of an interesting little fact. So after finding evidence of the queen, I was able to start wrapping things up and putting it away. I took note of how much honey was in the lower brood box and the upper brood box. That way I'll be able to determine roughly how much honey I need to put into the hive to make sure they're equipped to survive the winter. And we'll take that honey super off in another couple weeks.